And today I'm going to show you a solution to the color change error that you might receive on the A15 control panel for your butterfly machine. So in some scenarios you might run into where, depending on the model of software that you might have, the needle icon will show nothing, a error where it says 0 or a flashing icon like this, when in normalcy it would be an actual number like that. So in a case of the machine being in between needles and you getting a needle position abnormal error, now in some cases, depending on the software version you have, you can correct it and go to the closest needle and it'll correct itself. Other cases you may have to manually move it, or if you're in another scenario where you have too few needles or too many needles, there's two different paths. The too few needles would be corrected by going into your menu here, the more settings, and then you could go to machine configuration, and it'll ask you how many needles you have for your machine. Now, if it is another scenario, there will be an individual video for each one, but that may involve your potentiometer. That's a sensor that the machine is told by, usually just behind the color change motor, where it's at basically in the physical world. So it tells the machine what color and needle it's located on. And I'll do other videos as follow-up for inspecting and correcting that issue. Now here we're looking at the front part of a butterfly standard. This is one of our parts and videos machines just for this type of situation. So what I'm doing here is I'm just behind the head looking at the color change motor cover, and it's going to be a Phillips to remove 2 Phillips screws on top. Now if you've seen the greasing video, this is the same machine that I demonstrated that on, and we're going to be looking in the same area. However, we're not going to be looking at the worm gear this time. We're going to be looking at the potentiometer right here. So this is a device that basically has 2 prongs like this, but very tiny on the inside, and basically a coil wire, mesh wire, that's wrapped all around it. And each little spacing that these 2 fingers touch on gives it a degree position. And when your color change starts acting wild, or starts trying to go to numbers that don't exist, or continues to keep going even though you've run out of needles, you're going to get some weird noises, you're going to get a surprise, and basically this is where we'll decide on either fixing the position of this or replacing this. Now for the next part, we're going to be inspecting the potentiometer. So we will get a number 2 Allen and look for the set screw on the collar of the color change motor. What I'll do is loosen this. And once that's loosened, I can just simply slide the potentiometer out. And what I'm going to do is just ever so slightly adjust it, just to see how it feels. Now there is a stop point. Usually these are 10 full rotations. So the stop point, you'll feel it. There will be some slight resistance. You do not want to overexert any amount of force on this. You want to just let it roll how it wants to. Now if you twist it and you feel it kind of catching and rubbing those 2 fingers in there, rubbing on the coil on the inside, probably torn or bent into it, which causes a lot of skipping or unregistered needle identification, stuff like that. So if you feel it and it seems pretty smooth in every turn up until, and you can tell I'm just gently twisting it, till it stops one direction, and then I'll go the other direction until it stops. See, it stops there. Now I'm just gently twisting so I don't over push on that stopping point, because that can damage it if you overturn it. So what I'll do next is basically adjust this to whichever needle I am left off with. Usually if you're on needle 15 here, you're able to just adjust it back to 15, what it says on your control panel in that area I just explained before where it shows the needle. You'll adjust it to 15 and then gently at the correct orientation, and you don't want to turn it while you're putting it back in, so you want to line it up just right there. And then once you have your secure here, you can get your 2mm and retighten it. Now this is a very quick way to get it done. I would recommend cycling through a couple needles at a time, and basically going from, you know, needle 15 to needle 10, and then from 10 to 5, and from 5 to 1, and then back again. And what I like to do in the end is do a full 15 to 1 and then 1 to 15, and make sure every color change is smooth across the board.